Hey, cunts, don't forget to click the subscribe button.
When you're doing the 60-40 finance.
60-40.
Yeah, when you're doing that finance.
No. It's not okay. It's a rollover equity. You're talking about the rollover equity where the doctors keep the 40.
Yeah, but you go to the bank and you finance that 60%, right?
Correct. In fact, the cute thing is when you're interviewing the banks, they'll tell you 80-20, 70-30. So then when you go with a 60-40 deal, they go, oh, fuck, this is well within our parameters. And you got them hooked. Legally. Yeah.
Let's assume they say cash flow only has to cover that 60, or which part of the cash flow, 100% or that 60% of the cash flow has to cover that 60%?
No. Okay. The 100% of the cash flow has to cover the 60% of the debt service, which is a slam dunk, even for you meatheads. Verstehen? What even makes it better is, unless the deal is really, really rancid, ugly fucking deal, the 60% of the cash, the 100% of the cash flow will always cover the 60% of the debt service. You got to really get a raunchy deal. Do you understand me? You got to get a really raunchy deal for it not to cover. Everybody verstehen raunchy, ugly? Okay, yeah. Well, I'm going to describe it a different way. I think you're saying the right thing. But no, you're not leaving it. You're not buying it from him. Yes, sir. No. And you agree an exit. I don't like the, Jason says 3-year exit. I like 5-year exit because I like some room. So, but at the end of 3 years, the contract, you will either exercise that and you will buy them out at that strike price that you agreed 3 years before, or you may roll them again. You may roll them again. They may like the deal. They may want to stay. You may roll them again. And I assure you, if they stay in the deal, and the deal about when you're buying a practice is when you've already, once you get your first one and you got a practice, let's say there's a practice owned by 3 doctors and you bought 60%, they kept 40. When you go to the next deal, and oh, by the way, these 3 doctors are still in our deal. Oh. And then when you go to the 10th or 12th one and you got 80 doctors that own the 40%, it's just like taking candy from a baby. Because they will presuppose the doctors must be happy because they stayed. They won't presuppose the doctors are brain dead. It is a thing of beauty. It is. And back in the day, the Onassis people used to buy ships this way. They'd buy 60%, finance it. The old ship owners would keep 40%. It was like a pinball machine that you pulled back and it was registering wins all the way around. So everybody get that. I mean, it's beautiful. And virtually nobody, even the meatheads on fucking YouTube, because they don't understand because they're retarded, will compete with you. No, I mean, nobody. You heard, who was it that was talking about the 19-year-old? The 19-year-old, Andreas. Andreas says a 19-year-old kid, he's mentoring, got a dream team board, PwC, and he's doing roll-ups. 19. And in Germany, education's a big deal. Andreas repeated it at least 3 times. No education. Then he said 0 education. And all the letters after his name, Herr Professor, Doctor, that bullshit. But I got a younger, 13. 13. It's embarrassing. I didn't even know how to jack off at 13. I was a late bloomer. 13! You gotta kill yourselves. Metaphorically speaking, of course. I would never want anybody to harm themselves because every human being deserves to live. Fuck you! We got too many people on the fucking planet. So now, when you're writing the goals tonight, remember, bold, unrealistic, bodacious, over the top, unconventional, and you cannot accomplish in your lifetime. These are big motherfuckers. Big. Because you will never achieve or overachieve your highest expectation, your craziest expectation. Now, when I set the goal of this place, I shouldn't have been here. But I didn't know I shouldn't have been here. Nobody told me. Nobody told me a million things that had happened. Nobody told me that. And as an aside, when we started looking at castles on islands, you may see James, the Highlander with, what's his name, Sean Connery. But that Highlander castle that they do that movie on is a fucking collapsed tip that they fixed up, for the movies. And then I wanted a moat. The only thing that could have made this fucking purchase worse is if I had a motherfucking moat. That means, water around. Boy, none of the engineers told me what it meant to have a fucking moat around the castle. Nobody. I would have been suing those cocksuckers for malpractice because all moats are sinking, or all castles with moats around are sinking by definition and leaking. And the basement, the bottom floors are all fucking water. Nobody told me that. But by the grace of Allah, I didn't buy one with a fucking moat. I'd be really triple fucked. Most of my neighbors, the ceilings are falling in. The wallpaper on the walls are falling off. Rising damp, wet rot, dry rot. The floors, the toilets have fallen through the floorboards in the toilets. The pipes are all rotted. Most of the people live in 1/4 of the castle, maybe a half of the castle, and all the other places are boarded off. It costs $200 a day to heat the castle. Now, some of you said it was too hot. I don't know who. So then my crack staff, and I say crack because it could be crap, my crack staff turned the heat up, everything. No hot water in the kitchen, no nothing. My crack staff. Fucking morons. It wouldn't be so funny if it weren't true. One of the butlers back there. Okay, big time goals. Big time goals. I told you, let's see. Okay, any other questions? Assets. Any other questions? Oh, thank you. No, as soon as humanly possible. No time frame. Now, I went public on my 39th birthday because in my other goals, I said I have to be super rich before I'm 40. But I got to be super rich at 35, 33, 32. As soon as humanly possible. No time limits. Time limits only restrict you. A couple of you have got big birthdays coming up. But as soon as humanly possible, don't time to your birthday. And it happens. And it happens. Anything else about goals, affirmations? Anything about, who's my 530? 6. 6:30. No, 6:30. Okay. Any other questions about anything? Now, you've got this as homework. And by the way, we didn't discuss the lady for 26 years. 26 years with no day off. What is the takeaway about a Chinese lady? 26 years with no day off. Yes?
She never spent time with her family.
Well, all of us never spent time with anybody that's made This is a Trumpism, exaggerate. Anybody that's made any fucking serious money, never spent time with their families. By definition. I wish it weren't so, Joe. I wish it weren't so. But that is. J. Paul Getty, the first billionaire on the planet, supposedly, said that by definition, you can't have a successful marriage if you're going after wealth. He said towards the end of his life, which I don't believe, I would trade all my wealth for just one successful marriage, because he was married several times. Now, that's a fucking lie. I don't believe that. But when you're dead, when you get about to die, you say all kind of shit. So he said that, I would trade all my wealth. But when they kidnapped his grandson, when he was about 65 years old, they said they wanted $12 million. And he says, no, I have 15 or 18 grandchildren. I'm not going to pay any ransom for anybody. Then they said, well, we're going to send you a body part of your grandson back. Send me his head. I don't care. I'm still not going to pay. They sent him his ear. Famous story. His bloody ear. And he says, I'm still not paying. I don't care. I told you, send me his head, because I'm not paying any fucking money. J. Paul Getty. He had a pay phone in his house. A pay phone. He didn't have any, regular phones. Pay phone in his house. That's the only phone that he has had a pay phone. And then when he ultimately, he was a hard old man. J. Paul Getty. He helped bring in the oil of Saudi Arabia. He helped discover it. And when I say you can just throw a spear in, this is much of an exaggeration. Just throw a fucking spear in the oil comes out. But at that time, oil was $1 or $2 a barrel, $3 a barrel. They had no means of transportation. This was back in the 40s, no pipelines. So he invented the supertanker. They could take 1, 2, 3 million barrels from Saudi. Invented the supertanker. And coincidentally, the supertanker is just wide enough to get to the canal. Pardon? No.
The Suez Canal?
Yeah, Suez. Thank you. Suez Canal. Send him his ear. I used to have one of the lawyers for the Getty Foundation. They said he was the cheapest white man that was ever born. And I said, you haven't been to Yorkshire. That's what I said. But you haven't been to Yorkshire. When Sally and I went to a funeral, and her family, nice people. One of her uncles spent most of the time sitting in our car because he always wanted to be a limo driver of a. Okay, any questions about anything? Oh, anything else about the lady, 26 years? Yes, sir, in the back.
Diversify. Don't diversify.
Don't diversify.
Yeah.
Now, you've been taught to diversify to limit your risk, right? No. The big rich guys make the big bet. They make the big bets. And they live or die with them. If oil had not come back from $6 a barrel, what the banks would have done to me, it would have transcended bankruptcy. Whatever is beyond bankruptcy and hell, that's where I would have been. Because I just kept borrowing, buying, from $41 a barrel to $6. But it didn't happen that way. But I made the big bet. I was positive that I was right. Namaste. But I was. All the lawyers, all they can't tell me, no, Dan, you're going to be bust. You're going to be boost. You're going to lose everything. You're going to lose everything. Just kept on pouring money in. borrowing money, drawing all my lines of credit down, all my cash. Just keep buying. Keep buying until I tell you no. And I remember popping from $6 to $12 a barrel. They said I passed out. I don't remember that part. They said I collapsed on the trading floor. I don't remember that at all. And then it was 18. Then it was 22. Motherfucker, I did it. Then it was 30 again. God damn, you're a fucking genius. I remember that part. I don't remember collapsing though. But they've got no reason to lie to me about that. They said all of a sudden, we were all standing there and all of a sudden you weren't there. And then we looked on the ground and you were there. I think that's a bullshit lie. Okay, if no other questions, I'll see you at 5:30 and I'll see you at 6 o'clock and then we'll see you for dinner. Affirmations are really important, kids, and we'll go over them. Like sex, it's all coming down to the end, but tomorrow we get to see Thomas, the whiz kid, live. And we're going to see Peter from Hungary. Not live. And we're going to see the last role play from Josh on A Motivated Seller. Okay, we'll see you later tonight. Thank you.